Darren, what's good, baby?
Man, my boy, what's going on with you?
Not much, man. Just relaxing down here in Florida.
I bet. Well, before we even get rolling, I know how much courage it takes every time that you speak and share your story, everything that you've been through, because I know it's a heavy experience, it's a lot, and I'm just grateful that we have this opportunity to talk in this setting, man.
Appreciate it, man. Likewise. I mean, you know how it is, doing what we do and being under the spotlight and scrutiny and what people say and all that. So to come out and talk about weaknesses, man, it's beautiful. You know, it's going to help a lot of people. It's already helped a ton of people. So just got to keep telling it and doing our thing, man.
In 2018, we were on the same team, like in the same locker room, and you know, I see you coming into the league and jumping out right away. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, this dude's gonna do good things.
Touchdown, Hayden Hurst.
I had no idea that you had the journey that you had, and
Right.
You probably didn't know that I had the journey that I had at the time. We both turned things around from going from suffering to now being able to serve. It's just like, this is beautiful, bro. Like, I don't know how you feel, but I'm just like overwhelmed almost.
I know I feel way more comfortable in my skin to talk about it, and I'm more confident as a man, you know, with where my journey has taken me in life.
We see you as the man that you are today. I feel like to provide context, we gotta go all the way back to the beginning. Being a professional and playing sports at the highest level, was that like a dream for you growing up, or was it something that just ended up kind of happening?
It's all I ever thought about as a kid. Great mom, great dad, great support system with my sister as well. They chased me all around the country playing baseball, playing football. You know, they were with me every step of the way.
Pitcher number 22, Hayden Hurst.
It just came naturally. Like, I could just pick up a ball and I could make it spin. I could throw it hard as hell. It didn't matter who was hitting. Like, I could throw it past you at 97 miles an hour. You know, everybody always told me, you know, you're gonna pitch in the big leagues forever. And, you know, I believed it.
And a local Bulls pitcher is going to the major leagues.
18-year-old Hayden Hurst was drafted by the Pirates.
I never really thought of it as like a monetary thing, which was probably why I was so good at it as a kid. And then, like, once I kind of transitioned into, like, general managers were watching, owners, coaches, and stuff like that, it started kind of tripping me out a little bit. Whenever I got to Bradenton with the Pirates down there, it just, I don't know, it just kind of changed. Like, I started thinking of it as more of a job. I wasn't having fun. I was thinking about money. In my mind, I was the golden ticket for my family. I was gonna provide, they're gonna retire. I guess all that pressure started getting to me down there, and I just kind of lost it. It was wild, man. I'm almost 30 years old, and I still haven't figured out what the hell went wrong. Panic attacks on the mound. My hands would shake. I'd want to throw up. I wouldn't want to be out there. And for me, it was terrifying because to my core, I love competing. I love dominating people. I love being the bigger man. I love showing it on TV. That's just how I'm wired. And for the first time in my life, I wanted to run.
It's different, right, if you have an injury and your career is over, or it's like something happens and it's like, okay, I know why, but you don't know why. And the depression that comes with that, like, how did you go about trying to cope with it or make it make sense, or just continue on your journey?
Well, the decisions that I made as far as coping with it were just, you know, pretty immature. I started reaching for anything that I could get my hands on just to make that feeling go away.
Because I'd go out there and I couldn't even warm up on a foul line.
Like kids do. I mean, I was going through like a bucket of balls. People talk shit, laugh at me, do all this stuff, and it was just, you know, I'm a prideful guy, and it gets to you, man. I started partying, just get obliterated, blacked out, and not know what happened. And then it got to the point where I'd wake up and I'd still be kind of buzzing a little bit, and I'd go out there and I'd pitch, and I'd pitch better. So in my mind, in my stupid, immature brain, I'm like, oh, well, if I just get buzzed a little bit, takes the edge off, I can go out there and pitch. It spiraled from there, man. It was bad. You know how it is, man, when you're in that darkness, man, it's tough. It doesn't matter what upbringing you had, the depression and the substance stuff, man, it's tough. Very tough.
Yeah, it does not discriminate whatsoever. Turning to the partying and to the using, it's like, I just don't want to feel all of these emotions. I just don't want to feel this depression. I don't want to feel this anxiety. Like, I just want it to go away and just be calm, and I can just take a deep breath, and that's what that represents to us. I had a close-knit family group as well, but I started to isolate myself from them because I was projecting how I viewed myself onto them. Was that something that happened with you? Because I know, like, your family means so much to you.
I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to, like, explain to them that, essentially in my mind, their golden ticket had been ripped away. Because I couldn't explain what was happening to me. And I was making bad decisions, obviously, with drinking and drugging and stuff like that, that I truly felt like I was a failure to my family.
I mean, it's crazy how we as people, like, these games, these sports are so important to us, but it's like we attach our identity as men and as human beings and, children of God to our performance, when really it's about, who we are and who we're becoming in the process. But I fell into the same traps, the same immature behaviors and coping skills, like, were all there for me, man.
It's just, it's wild, man. Like, it has been a wild ride to get here.
Was there like a point with the Pirates where you realized like it was over, or it was like at its darkest and you knew there was no going back to baseball?
Yeah, actually, there was kind of a turning point down there. I told my mom this for the first time the other day.
I don't think I've ever really talked about it because it's pretty embarrassing, I guess, would be the word to describe it. But yeah, there was a day, or I guess a night down there, where we had all gone out, and I'd been drinking all day, popping pills, taking Xanax, stuff like that. And by about 10:30, 11 p.m., like, the lights went off for me. Like, I had no idea what was going on. The next thing I know, I woke up in a parking lot in my car, like at 7 in the morning. My rearview mirror was ripped off. It was in my back seat. My shirt was ripped. I had cuts on my arms. I had throw up on my shirt. And in my mind, I'm like, please God, tell me I didn't hit somebody. And I got out of the car and I kind of looked at the front and I'm like, okay, we're good. I'm gonna go back to the facility, everything's straight. And then the mall security guard pulled up next to me. And he was like, hey, buddy, rough night, huh? And I kind of looked at him. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, you were dead asleep in your car. I was stopped at at a red light. I blacked out. And I don't know, I kind of looked at myself in the mirror that day and I was like, dude, you either gotta leave and leave this place behind you or you're gonna end up in jail or dead. So that was kind of the turning point for me where I was like, I gotta hang up baseball, man. It's literally killing me.
And as you were looking to make a change, who was in your corner?
My dad. Anything like that kind of comes up, he's really the guy that I kind of go to. And I told him, I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm out of here. So my dad was just supportive and he said, all right, what's your plan? So I ended up calling one of my good buddies from high school. At the time, he was a walk-on quarterback at South Carolina. Just asked him what college football was all about, how hard was it, obviously what's training camp like, stuff like that. And he just kind of told me, he was like, dude, you're everything that we need at tight end. Like, we don't have guys, you're an athlete, you've obviously got a chip on your shoulder. I think it would be perfect for you. And I think May of 2015, I told the Pirates, I'm out of here.
Wow. And as you get to South Carolina, was it difficult? Did you feel like you were handling it well? Did it feel natural? Like, take us through what the football transition was like first.
It was easy, man.
I don't know, in my mind, I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, you know what I mean? In my mind, when I left Bradenton, I was leaving all my problems behind me, because I was like, it was just the environment I was in. It's not me, it's just the environment. But, unfortunately, that stuff kind of follows you unless you deal with it. With the depression, it's always like the people you least expect. It's always the people who have a bunch of friends, they're funny, but you don't understand what they're going through when you're not around. Behind closed doors, like with the battles they're fighting and the demons that they're fighting. And those demons never left me, and I just never dealt with them. So, I'm going through, freshman workouts and all that stuff, and I'm kicking everybody's ass, and I'm dominating, and they're like, oh man, you're gonna be on scholarship soon, da-da-da-da-da. And, on the weekends, I'm still partying. I'm still, doing coke. I'm still popping pills, because that embarrassment of, baseball is still there. And then one night, it just kind of caught up with me, man, and I don't know. I guess just a combination of a bunch of shitty years, a lot of poor decisions. Because like I said, man, you understand. Like when you're in that headspace, you don't think about anybody else. You want that voice to stop. You want that pain to go away. So you'll do whatever it takes to drown it out. And I'd been beating that voice down for years and years, and it just kind of caught up with me one night, man. And I was like, I can't do it. Like I want out. I want it out. I just want it out. I don't know, I justified trying to kill myself and put a knife to my wrist, and I was like, hopefully it'll be over soon.
It's like a darkness in your head that you can't get out. It clouds your judgment. It changes who you are as a person.
You hear that voice just over and over, you start to believe it, It's like, I'd be better off if I was dead. I'd be better off if I wasn't here. Like, this pain will go away, that embarrassment will go away.
You talk about having a second chance and waking up from that moment of trying to take your own life.
I just remember, obviously, waking up, handcuffed to a gurney with a cop standing at the door, not letting me. I couldn't even go to the bathroom on my own, man. Like, I had to get escorted down the hall. And they walked me into this room and told me I had five minutes to talk to my family. I don't really remember much of the conversation. A lot of it is kind of how I'm set up right now, just kind of looking at the ground. And my mom was crying, my dad was shocked, and they just tried to ask me what the hell happened. And I had no answers for them. When you're sitting there, in that kind of setting, you do a lot of self-reflection. I didn't even recognize the person that I had become. Being 23 years old and heading down that path is like, I had no idea what I was doing. We're not doing this anymore. I flipped a switch. As soon as I got out of that hospital, I got with the strength coaches, and I had a key to the weight room. And I mean, I was in there 2-3 times a day. I replaced all that BS with just working hard. And I don't know, it just kind of clicked. I was like, man, if you keep doing this, football might actually work.
Sometimes you don't know how to just stop and check on you, see how you're doing. I realized I had never, ever done that.
Right.
When I went to rehab in Maine, and one of the first things they taught us how to do was meditate. And so that's something that I continue to keep in my repertoire. You know, I'll meditate at the team facility. I'll find little pockets in the building, like morning, afternoon, nighttime. I'm praying, I'm writing in my journal. I make music, you know, I'm not trying to make music to just be cool and be flashy. Like, it's really something that helped me to be able to cultivate confidence as I was coming out of my journey and I was suspended out of the league, and just trying to find, you know, who I was as a man and what I enjoyed, because drugs and alcohol took away all the joy in my life.
I definitely understand, like, writing lyrics for songs and writing in a journal, because that's kind of what I did back in the day when I was really going through it. You know, I had a journal, I still have it. From the time that I woke up till the time that I went to bed, I mean, I would write down every single thought that crossed my mind.
And I would put it on paper. So I'm assuming that's kind of like writing a song, right? You know,
Exactly.
You're feeling the type and you're just
Getting it out.
And leaning on people, picking the phone up, that's still something that's hard for me to do, but I'm getting better at it. Because my mind can still be twisted, man. My shit can still go left.
Oh, yeah.
Some days. And I gotta let people in to help me, because when I isolate, I'm still behaving in the way that I was doing when I was using, but I'm not using anymore. And I don't wanna do that, man. I wanna experience love and joy and just contentment in my life.
It's an ongoing process, bro. Like, that stuff never leaves you. And I think that's kind of what it takes, right? Like, you got to do a little self-reflection and figure out who you are.
It's amazing when, like, hope starts to flow back in and just things slowly come together. I keep going back in my mind to, like, when we were teammates, right? And it's like, I had no plans of sharing my story on a public scale at any point. Like, I'm mostly introverted, like, and as far as, like, my deepest, darkest secrets and the things that, like, broke me down to my lowest, like, I'm not really trying to share things like that, but it kind of just happened. Like, what was your stance on that?
At first, yeah, I definitely was like, no way. Like, why would I do that? Like, why would I put myself on that pedestal? I don't know, I just kind of got to a point where I was just so comfortable with myself and who I was and where I was at in my life, that I realized, you know, what if my story helped some other kid who was stuck in a bullpen down in South Florida? You know what I mean? Like, if it could impact one kid to be like, you know, Hayden Hurst, he turned his life around and he tried to kill himself. Well, why can't I do that? It kind of was a purpose bigger than me. And I got so comfortable with, again, like, who I'd become, but I kind of had to take a step back and relearn myself and fall in love with me again and just be confident in the person that I was to get to that point to share my story.
It's a big step, man. Finding purpose that's greater than not only your pain, but it's greater than yourself or anything that you ever could imagine for your life. It's beautiful, man. And bro, I know you got so many more explosive plays and big catches and hurdles and getting up and flexing on people. You are special, you are valuable, your life is a blessing, your story is a blessing, and a lot of people are gonna benefit from hearing this. And I hope you know that, and I hope you always remember that as you continue on your journey, man.
I appreciate you, D-Wall. I mean, you too, man. New city, new team. I know you're gonna kick ass in the Big Apple, man. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Straight up, man. The love is mutual, brother. And yeah, I'm here for you if you ever need anything from me.
Always, brother, always.
All right, bro, peace.